You know what I'm saying? Just regular rascal shit. You know what I'm saying? You already know that you growing up in a war zone until your first loved one get hit, like get killed. And then it like change your whole like perspective on this shit. Like once your first loved one get killed.
So man, you know, from your perspective and your vantage point, you growing up, man, like how was it for you growing up as far as LA? You know what I'm saying? In Slauson Ave, I'm sure that's where you grew up at.
Yeah, yep. I grew up on Slauson. See, I grew up in two hoods because my parents wasn't together, so really three. Because my grandma lived on Jefferson in the West Boulevards. That's like my second hood. My daddy lived in the jungles. That's the ops. You know what I'm saying? And then my mama stayed right there in the hood. Like we always stayed somewhere around Slauson, but then my uncles always stayed in the hood too. So, and my big cousins is like, got a lot to do with how, but growing up, I grew up on the rich side of Slauson. Like my parents had money, hence the name Bricc Baby. So, you know what I'm saying? I grew up like in the big houses and shit, and then my mama went to the feds. Like, but before she went to the feds, she had caught the case. So we went from some $1 million shit to EBT. My life was crazy. We went from up to down, then back up again. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, then we went back up again. So me growing up in the hood, it's like I was watching them. I didn't see them hustling, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I started putting it together. I watched them hustle, you know what I'm saying? Then we was outside, it wasn't no internet. You couldn't play with your homeboys on 2K. Well, we was playing NBA Live back then though, but you couldn't play live at the house with your boy that's 4 blocks away. They gotta walk outside, go get your mans, ride your bike. Y'all over there kicking over trash cans or whatever the fuck we doing before we get back to the house. Then stole some shit up out the stove. You know what I'm saying? Just regular rascal shit. You know what I'm saying? You already know that you growing up in a war zone until your first loved one get hit, like get killed. And then it like change your whole like perspective on this shit. Like once your first loved one get killed, it's either gonna send you away from this shit or you gonna dive in.
Now,
and I jumped off the porch like 11 and a half, 12, no cap. No cap. I wasn't from 60s. Nigga, you can ask anybody, I was causing terror in the city before I was even of age to start causing terror. Like the little nigga, that little nigga got a gun on him.
Now, do you ever reflect back and be like, man, 11 years old is young as a motherfucker, bro?
My daughter 13, right? So when I be looking at her, I'm like, oh, you ain't that good. I'm like, you actually cool. I'm like, man, cause I was 13. Boy, when I was 11, even that, I'm just like, she didn't start walking to the store by herself till now. You get what I'm saying? Like, nigga, I've been doing that. I used to go get my mama cigarettes at 7. You know how you take the note inside there, you remember that shit? Take the note in there with the cigarette, buddy. I was smoking me a cigarette on the way back. But really my auntie's cigarettes and my grandma's shit. Or they'd tell me to dump the cigarette in the toilet for them. Take my cigarette in the bathroom. Nigga, catch a roach. Like, we start, no bullshit. I probably smoked my first blunt when I was 8. I lied to the homies. We got a clique over there by my grandma's house. We used to be called the Dub SNs, the weed smoking niggas. Hey, yeah, I swear to God, Dub SNs. We used to throw at the West Side shit. But we was smoking weed, so we'd all save up our money every day and we'd go like 2 on the Nick sack and then two swishers for the dollar. You know what I'm saying? Or I think it might have been 2 for 50 cents back then. Oh, yeah, remember? So we used to roll them bitches and smoke them motherfuckers young, nigga. And didn't nobody know, but it's just like that's how life was back then. Like people were grown, like motherfuckers' families was already strung out on crack. We used to have to go get the groceries and do all type of shit. Like my mom used to be out hustling, but shit, it was, you know how it was in the early 90s, shit. Nigga, crack fucked up a lot of families. So nigga, we was having to be grown earlier. Now, it's kind of like the kids get to be kids a little bit longer, but then the internet, they get to watch people twerking. And it just, you know, it's just a different time. So they'll be fast this way, but like they ain't really, that's why these kids ain't tough like how we was. You know what I'm saying? You talk about that, all they do is shoot. All they do is play Call of Duty. They ain't grew up really,
Man.
yeah, like nigga, my middle school got shot up before, or like no, my cousin middle school got shot up before. By some middle school niggas that was gangbanging in middle school. I lost my best friend from Harlem, nigga, in middle school. Nigga, Sean Cochran, well, one of my best friends, Sean Cochran, right there on Jefferson. He just was about to graduate from the 8th grade, I think.
Shout out Reallyfe Street Starz, nigga. Move it. Hey.